You know, every now and then when I'm filming these selfie videos, it's like, who is that old man in your camera? Yesterday was a long day for me, particularly with the load already in my legs. So I got started this morning. I had to recover a little bit longer, just had to rest more. So I started about 10. Probably what I'm gonna do is go to Cosby, try to get to Cosby and see, maybe just tent camp there. And then maybe see about doing a little bit longer-ish. Is that a word, longer-ish? Probably not. A little bit longish day tomorrow. We'll just see. We'll see how the day shakes out. Beautiful day, probably not as cold as my attire would make it seem. I'll warm up after I've been walking a little bit. So, as usual, we go onward. I would show you a little more of the pitch, but I ain't walking back down it to video it even a step. That right there is short. You know, the total climb is probably half a mile, maybe a little over. But that little stretch there of a couple of 100 yards is the steepest pitch I've climbed so far here on No Settlers. So, whew, glad that is done. Swinging you around. Now, I'm going that way. That is a little descent. I don't know if it descends and goes back up or if it just descends. I don't know. But I will find out. Onward. Got to go up that. It's ridiculously steep. Looks like it's a short section, but wow. Onward. Well, I have a whole different appreciation. I mean, how does that happen every single time I start the video? Have a whole different appreciation for Old Settlers Trail now. Trying to keep my head between, my head's big as all outdoors. My head ought to stay between the camera and the sun, but somehow it's not doing it. Have a whole different appreciation for Old Settlers Trail. It and Grapeyard Ridge, you know, both are walking across shoulders. And on the bicycle, we would call that a lumpy route. And sometimes those lumpy routes are harder than pure climbing routes, you know, so, sorry. So anyway, I have not made good time. There's a section about 3 miles north of the camp after I left camp. That was a hard stretch of trail. Really hard stretch of trail. So, rather than try to hit some arbitrary point and walk until 7 or 8 o'clock again tonight, which I do not want to do, I called backcountry and I modified into campsite 34, which is about 3 miles from the end of this trail. So I'm getting pretty close to the end of this one now, finally. So hopefully, you know, if I'm in the dark, it won't be long as far as walking. And I hope I'm not even that. We'll see. So, we'll see. You know, I had a signal up here earlier, so I kind of updated as I was able to call backcountry and all that. Just being out on the perimeter, sometimes you get a signal. And updated family, friends, and all that. So happy I could do that. But, and as I was telling one of them, I'll watch this a bit here, adventure, which is what I regard this as, adventure does not equal easy. And if it were easy, everybody'd be out here doing it. So, you know, it's my birthday party, so I could have sang that this more on my other video, you know, where I apologize for sounding whiny. I could have sang "It's My Party, I'll Cry If I Want to." But seriously, it is my party. I keep moving the camera around just a little bit just to try to stop that. Doesn't work. So I'll update later. Onward. I wish I could take a little more time on this trail and show you some of these big trees. Man, there are huge trees over here. Of course, we're not far from, which I'm bypassing at this time, but I'm not far from Albright Cove, which is home to the largest trees in the park. Certainly, there's some other specimens, I mean, Cataloochee and places like that, but there's just big trees all along this trail. It's beautiful. I've never done the trail this way. I've done it the opposite direction from north to south. This time I'm running south to north. I'm headed toward campsite 34. Yesterday made a big demand on me, and I would also say that I really didn't rest right last night. So this campsite should be roughly 2.5 miles in. So I may walk in the dark, but it won't be anything like last night. I mean, it'll be just a few minutes because I'm just a shade over a mile. And there's a little stream in front of me. I am out of water, so I'm gonna stop and get some, and I'll update later. Onward. It's getting late, but I just couldn't resist. I mean, the way the sun looks, there are so many big trees in these coves. I know I'm looking at some small ones right there, but there have been just huge trees, one after the other. Part of it was I was going uphill and didn't want to try to video and breathe at the same time. But these coves are just, and that's what I had forgotten about this trail, is just how pretty it is. It's been such a long time since I've been on it. I'm glad. Sorry I don't have more time to spend videoing, but I'm glad I'm spending the night on this trail. This is a good one. Onward.